Has your fantasy season so far been a total and complete stinker? Well, it's not too late to turn it around and still have some fun. Don't worry about that team that has 2 wins or that team that has 3 wins and has no chance of making the playoffs. Still compete in your league because that's good sportsmanship. But instead, join Underdog Fantasy, a proud sponsor of the Fantasy Couriers. You can do daily, weekly drafts for single games or for multiple games. You can also join the Pick'em contest where you can choose, will a player get higher or lower? Will Josh Allen get higher than 273.5 yards or will he get lower? The options are endless. There is so much fun to be had with Underdog Fantasy Sports. Join now with the code Couriers and your deposit will be matched. Plus, you'll support an amazing, awesome podcast. Speaking of which, now on to the show.
What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Week 14, playoffs are coming up down the stretch. About 3 weeks ago, dude, I had all my teams in the playoffs. 2 teams just imploded. One thanks to you, the other one thanks to 2.5 points. And everybody from the Houston Texans going invisible. How's your week going?
I mean, started out rough. I think overall, I think I'm kind of the opposite. I mean, over the last few weeks, I've got a few teams into the playoffs. But I mean, like I said, still 50-50 shot. We'll get into the Texans a little later. But yeah, I mean, fantasy really started off, was rough today, but it kind of came around a little bit. But overall,
until you go to Oakland or
yeah, that might have set NFL back 80 years.
But yeah, I was telling you prior to the show that I have a crazy wild stat. I'm in this one league I joined with our friend Jared from the Midwest. I joined with a bunch of guys there last year, Dynasty League, and I was excited for my team this year. Started out okay, then it went hot. Then I played Jared's team, which was hot. He beat me by 1 point. The next week I played another team, which was like right in the middle of the playoff hunt. He beat me by 1.5 points. This week I played a guy whose team's just really good. I am going to be the second or third highest scoring team and not make the playoffs. The other guy who's the second or third highest scoring team based upon the week will also not make the playoffs. That's fantasy slapping you in the face. Both of us. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to everybody. So, I mean, it's hard for me to feel bad for somebody like that because, I mean, it's happened to me before. I mean, I've been screwed several ways. So, I mean, tough luck, man. Better luck next year.
I've never seen something that wild. That was crazy. I was like, holy moly, I've never seen 2 teams that low. And then in another Dynasty League, there's like 3 of us that have winning records. Everybody else is 6 and 7. So that is wild. Like, and I think they're going to end up they're all going to end up losing. I forget how, but it's pretty terrible. But let's get into the week.
Pleasure
and pain. JJ Wang, it's finding me some pleasure this week, man. Probably in somebody else's team.
That's good. There's some pleasure here, but it's fantasy. You can't have pleasure without pain. But we'll start with that Thursday game. Great NFL football. It was actually better than I thought it would be. We got Zeke Elliott turning back the clock with Ramondre Stevenson out. Are we semi-confident in Zeke, maybe being like that old Zeke from the Cowboys a little bit?
Well, not old Zeke from Cowboys, but I'd put him in. Locked and loaded. I mean, interestingly, he didn't get it. He got it through the air. 7 for 72. That's insane. He did do it all. The Patriots did do everything in the entire game on 3 drives, and the rest of the game they looked terrible. But 3 drives is all it took for them to win that game.
Yeah, it's like Zeke is probably one of their best receivers. I mean, we've seen him be able to be one of those good receivers out of the backfield, and he kind of like that legitimate 3-down back that Belichick will play. Yeah. I mean, it's really no different than Ramondre. I mean, they were both like the same back, so you're not really losing anything. Just real quick, going into next season, out of the Pittsburgh receivers, which one are you drafting higher?
I like the target share for Deontay. So it's still I love Pickens, but it's a thin line.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then the next game, first game on Sunday, pretty good game as of like Bucks and the Falcons. The Falcons actually came around. I feel like this is like the first time all season that everybody on this offense that we expected to hit kind of hit. I mean, Ritter had a great game. Kyle Pitts got a big touchdown. London just absolutely murdered it.
Thanks
So
a
my
lot, Drake
question,
London.
yeah, I mean, I had him on the bench, so that's
You do
cool.
everywhere.
Yeah. So I mean, with Drake London, is Drake London just like the next DK where he has these big games, but he just doesn't like fulfill that potential?
It could be because the talent, like I love the talent of Drake London, and I'm just getting snake bitten all year. And this week I see that I'm like, I started him nowhere. I think I've got three or
Yeah.
four guys teams with him. I started him nowhere. And I'm just looking at that 25, whatever it was, scoring on that bench. But this is what I thought he would be this year because this is what Desmond Ritter did with him last November, December. So if Ritter, I mean, is Ritter the quarterback next year? I don't know. I mean, they're in second place in the South because that division's terrible. The Bucks are in first. They're all 6 and 7, so they could make the playoffs and not be in position to draft a quarterback or get like the second tier of quarterbacks that Penix kid or who might fall a
Yeah,
little
so,
bit.
I mean, some of these catches were impressive. You just throw it up. I mean, he's just going up and grabbing it.
Real
It
good.
looks good. You figure out why it doesn't happen um more often, but I mean, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I
Holy
mean,
moly! Tyler
with
Algier outdid Bijan.
I know,
Sorry,
right?
I was just reading the
With
stat
with
line.
with games like this, I mean, you're going to go into next week. You're probably going to start London, but I, I mean, it's tough. Next game we got the Rams and the Ravens. Another good game, overtime. Ravens came back and won that game in overtime. Lamar Jackson finally had that game that I've been waiting for since I've drafted him. But we'll stick with the Ravens passing game here. We got Odell Beckham, who's kind of coming around lately, looking solid. And then we got Isaiah Likely just filling in like nicely. I've seen Lamar Jackson kind of target this kid, well, this man a lot here.
I see the
So
kid. We're so old.
yeah,
He could be
I
our
hate,
child.
I hate saying that. I hate when other people say it. I have to catch myself when I say it. But yeah, these guys are all men here. So as fantasy options for Odell Beckham and Isaiah Likely, is that faux real or is that for real?
If I had to gamble which one would be more consistent, it'd be Likely. But I mean, at this point, Beckham's getting targeted. I mean, there's 10 targets there coming his way. I mean, Flowers had 10 even going forward. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully, and you said it earlier, hopefully this Lamar Jackson thing. I mean, last time I was looking, he was QB1 for the week. I mean, and we're doing this Sunday, so until we haven't seen Dak or Jalen Hurts, but with that number 3, with all that he's got, there's no way they would have to go bonkers to go over what he did. It was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good. I mean, I've been waiting for this for a while since I traded for him. Great game. Um, Next game we got the Bears and the Lions. Somehow the Bears pull out the victory. The Lions don't
Bad.
look all that great lately. The Bears running backs, you're staying away from all three of those guys, right?
Oh yeah. I thought Roshan would get some touches this week because he was, and then all of a sudden Deonta Foreman gets all the touches, and I don't understand. I mean, the Bears coaches still think they can make the playoffs. Is all I can figure out, which statistically they can, but they're playing. They're not seeing what they got in this young talent, which is weird. And yeah, I'm not touching anybody not named DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, or Justin Fields on that team. Period.
All right, so speaking of DJ Moore, I'll bring up Justin Fields a little later in another game. So we got DJ Moore looking pretty impressive here over the last few weeks. That's the whole season kind of. He had that great big game earlier in the year. And we got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Both of these guys are pretty close in rankings. I mean, if you look at the rankings, I mean, they're kind of like back to back here overall. Which one of these guys finishes higher for the rest of the season? You still going with Amon-Ra?
I'm st- Let me see who they play.
I mean,
If I would go Amon Ra because he's been more consistent over his career. Browns, Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings. Got the Vikings twice. I mean, I'd still go Amon Ra. He's been more consistent over his last with his current team. How about that? I mean,
okay.
as long as Fields is happy. I mean, healthy
Well,
rather. Moore
I will
starting
say this is some of the best football I've seen DJ Moore play in his
because
entire
he's scoring
career.
touchdowns. That's the
Yeah, I mean
difference.
that's
Yardage,
always
he
been
always
the
had like
issue.
1,200 yards.
It's always been the issue, but I mean, it's been a while. But I mean, I feel like we kind of unleashed. He even got a rushing touchdown today. That was
Yeah,
the first one of his career. So,
he
awesome
wasn't
there.
touched. It was crazy.
Oh
Like he
yeah,
was,
yeah. All right, the next game we got the Bengals and the Colts. The Bengals find another win to maintain playoff hopes here with Browning as their quarterback. Um, Browning looks good. Somehow the receivers still struggle. So my question, I got a T Higgins question. So do you see T Higgins in the future as a wide receiver one or better positioned as a wide receiver two?
is T. Higgins DJ Moore? Could he be DJ? Like, I love T. Higgins, and it's been a weird spiraling of him. Like, I liked him when he came out because he was here the year before Jamar Chase. I drafted him in our league. I like the talent, but then he's just in Chase's shadow. I mean, he had a touchdown this week,
Yeah.
but he pushed off like a little push off there and got it thrown taken back. I could see in the right situation,
Yeah.
100%. Throw him get with some young good quarterback. Throw him, send him to Baltimore. That'd be funny. Watch him sign with Baltimore just to slap them for like, hey, forget me. Him
Kind of
and
where
Mark
you want all
Andrews.
these receivers. It's kind of where you want all these receivers to go until you finally get a receiver to bring them to Baltimore until they break out. I
Hey, I
mean,
got a
that's
question for
awesome.
you. Could Jake Browning be a? I was thinking this while I was watching the game, and it just popped in my head. Could Jake Browning be a league winner for somebody at this point whose quarterback went down, or who was just playing quarterback roulette? Could he be a league winner the way he's consistently been good these last 2 weeks?
I mean, it's hard for. I mean, yeah. I mean, considering the way quarterbacks are getting hurt and going down, we got lucky enough to have him in there. But I mean, he's still a hard guy to trust. I feel like there's several backup quarterbacks at this point that could possibly be league winners, right? So, like, just going to the next game, we got Jags and the Browns. Joe Flacco looking kind of decent in the Browns in the
Named him.
Browns in the Browns offense. So, I mean, several of these guys. I mean, a league winner can just. I mean, in Browning's case, or maybe even Flacco. I mean, league winners can be like you lose a quarterback and they fill in and don't lose you the game, right? I mean, they just come in and play solid and let the rest of your team, do what they've done. I mean, that can also be like a league winner, right? I mean, not losing you like a Trent Dilfer,
That's
Trent
Super Bowl champ. I
Dilfer
mean,
type, right?
Dilfer Flacco has a ring. Brad Johnson has a ring. I'm looking, but it made me feel good though. I named the wrong two, and I made my guess, but my fantasy pros bold prediction this week, and we still have three top tier quarterbacks. But as of our recording Sunday night, I said two of the top five quarterbacks this week would be backup quarterbacks. And at the top of the article, I did mention like maybe Dobbs and Minshew because I was wrong because Justin Jefferson got hurt. But right now, two of the top five, I think 3 and 4 maybe, are Flacco and Browning as far as rankings. I was like, yeah, dog. I was like, it'll be something fun. But they are in the top 5 as we go.
All right, next game we got Panthers and Saints. I mean, an okay game, I guess. Nothing too outrageous. I mean, Alvin Kamara
I didn't know it was on.
yeah, Alvin Kamara looked okay. The Panthers looked terrible. Thielen did have 74 yards. Bryce Young looks like a dreadful quarterback at the moment. Doesn't look very positive going into next year. Might even be trying to get out from underneath them and own him in dynasty possibly. But I want to talk about Chris Olave. Been very consistent. Is Olave also one like the DK Metcalf path? I mean, he's kind of that same guy too, right? I mean, he has the big games, but it's just not big games consistently.
He's got Derek Carr is the problem.
That is the problem. That is the problem.
Derek Carr usually has one guy that he throws the ball to a lot, and we thought it'd be Olave, but he's been kind of poo. I mean, my boy AT had most yards, and that was only on one catch, and but he's spreading the ball around. It was putrid. I was trying to find the game to watch. Like, I don't even want to watch this. It was so bad as it's going in. Yeah, he could be, I think, because we don't know what the quarterback carousel is going to be. I mean, it could very well be the new coach comes into Carolina and they go, you know what? We don't want Bryce Young. We like one of these young new quarterbacks, and Bryce Young gets Josh Rosen. He gets shipped off to some team, and for, a second round pick. They draft this new quarterback and they take him forward because then I'll give them 5 years, helps them to build guys up as they're going. I got a question for you. Do you think Chuba Hubbard has a future in the NFL as a number one running back? Because he has looked good since they've given him the number one tote. Miles Sanders still at 74 yards, but Chuba's been the workhorse.
I mean, he could be like a number one running back like he is now. I don't think he's going to go to a team as a
Oh,
number
not
one running
McCaffrey,
back.
I mean, but yeah.
But I mean, you can put him in for games as like you're a backup that comes in and plays well. But I think overall, over the season, I mean, I don't see it, but I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean,
Deonta Foreman.
yeah. So I mean, it's possible. Next game's a lot of pain here. We got Texans and the Jets. The Jets win. Texans are just completely falling apart. Just all pain there. Stroud's in concussion protocol. I'm asking for a friend. If Stroud is out of concussion protocol next week, regardless of who they play, it doesn't really matter. Are we starting Stroud or Fields?
Oh, Stroud or Fields?
Yeah. Gotta start one.
Because I cheated and I saw who Stroud's playing. We're starting Stroud. I forget. They have a really good playoff matchup. So they play the Titans twice. But I'm starting Stroud. Like, it was the Jets. The Jets are a putrid offense until this week, but their defense is still pretty good. So I was a smidge worried going in, but.
All right. So would you still starting Stroud if both receivers are gone?
Now that if Nico is out for sure, I would probably lean Fields. And I might even take back what I just said regardless, because Fields does run and Stroud does not. And we can't die on Stroud in 1 week. Who did your friend start this week?
I started Stroud.
Okay. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, the thing is, yeah, that sucks. You got both great. But yeah, gosh.
I'll probably go Fields.
I'd probably go Fields, but
I think my friend is probably a bigger fan of Fields, so I think I'll probably go Fields. Next game. Also, before we got, you need to start a quarterback. You start Bailey Zappi or Zach Wilson.
Oh, I'm not. If you have to start Bailey Zappi or Zach Wilson, you're not. Oh, by the way, Justin Fields plays the Browns next week, so you're starting Stroud. Not starting either of those guys. Also, great news: the Patriots are eliminated from the playoffs. I'll start Zach Wilson.
All right, next game, the Vikings and the Raiders. This is completely all pain, nothing to talk about. Justin Jefferson comes in, gets hit, goes out. I think Josh Jacobs get benched. Dobbs got benched. I think the Dobbs era is probably over. So anything to say about that game at all? It was terrible.
I don't understand how when you throw to Devontae Adams, you can't win a game. You can't score points. That's the end. Wait till he's getting the ball from Aaron Rodgers in New York next year. Adams and Garrett Wilson, it's gonna be gross, man. I'm scared. We got to win the Super Bowl this year. That's all I'm saying.
All right, next game, we got the Seahawks and 49ers. Is Brock Purdy the NFL MVP? A lot of talk lately.
That's been the discussion. And I was talking to somebody this week, and what we were really talking about is how can Brock Purdy and not – it's always a quarterback, but if you take Christian McCaffrey off this team, I think they're a different team. You take Brock Purdy off this team, they're still a good team. They're not as good as they – does that make sense? Like, I think McCaffrey is more valuable. So McCaffrey's like the most valuable player. Brock Purdy, offensive player. I think they could split hairs and go that route. I don't – he'll at this rate, he'll probably get it. But I still think it would be McCaffrey because of what he gives to this team.
So, so you're talking McCaffrey NFL MVP?
Possibly. I mean, you're coming – if Tyreek gets 2,000 yards – McCaffrey's going to have all these freaking numbers, and then you're going to throw in a couple of quarterbacks. That's who you're looking at, right? I mean, if Tyreek hits 2,000, he'll probably win that, wouldn't you say, if he sets the record?
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible, especially this year because nobody's really standing out.
Yeah, I mean, Purdy, he's in the top. He's in the top 3, 2, 1, 4.
All right. Next game we got Bills and Chiefs. I'm going to ask this every week until you say otherwise. Are we worried about the Chiefs here, man? I mean, at some point you've got to be worried about this offense only scoring 20 points a week.
Yeah, I'm worried about the Chiefs. I had to decide. The big thread on Dolphins threads were, who do you root for this week? It came down to you root for the Bills, but and the Chief because the rankings. But anyway, the Chiefs won the game if Kadarius Toney could move his feet 3 inches back.
That's
But
amazing.
if that changed, then Travis Kelce goes over 100 yards. The Chiefs win the game. Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, it was one.
This is what I don't.
If I
This
had
is
four
what
legs, I'd be a dog. But
I'm pretty sure every football fan that was watching that game would agree that Kadarius Toney was offsides, right?
yeah.
So why was Patrick Mahomes flipping out on the referee for making the right call? Doesn't make he's flipping out. But why are you flipping out? There was no way that wasn't a penalty, dude. You're in the wrong here, right? Right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I'll say that Chiefs are in bigger trouble if Pacheco's out because he really is carrying that team this year. They're not. I don't. Barring their goalie getting hot, they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. I thought they would. My pick's looking good. I had the Ravens and the Vikings. I had the Ravens as my Super Bowl pick. So what can I say? I'll have half of it.
All right.
Probably Ravens 49ers right now is my bet.
All right, last game we got Broncos and Chargers. Broncos somehow find a way to keep winning. A really huge giant pain right now with Justin Herbert going down. I think it was a hand issue, right?
Something with his hand. Yeah, there was some like cramps in the thumb. I never got a clear thing. We'll see what comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, so that could be dreadful for a bad team already. Easton Stick did not look good. That's going to hurt. Austin Eckler, I think, did get a touchdown. Yep. But I want to talk about the Broncos and two other guys. So Javonte Williams looking pretty good. I think he had like 16 points. So I got three running backs here, all looking pretty good at this point in the season. We got Javonte Williams, James Cook, and Rachaad White. Can you rank those three guys for me?
Rachaad White, Javonte Williams, and James Cook. Mainly because James Cook's quarterback will run for touchdowns. Rachaad White right now is getting a little bit of everything, is more consistent, and Javonte seems to fall right in between the middle, and they are still giving, like, not a lot, but that moment you get comfortable with Javonte, you're like, okay, there he goes. Oh, why did they give McLaughlin or P. Ryan a touch? Like, because, I mean, he's still only averaging 3.9 a carry, so it's not anything spectacular, but he's getting catches.
I mean, you're going to have to understand. There's going to be other running backs involved when it comes to, especially a team like Denver, when they don't want to really throw a whole lot anyway. They just want to run the ball.
Hey, Russell doubled his output. 224, baby. He was at 120.
Sean Payton has to be a really good coach, right?
Yeah, did you see that catch by Quentin Johnston was awesome. Like, he can catch balls, apparently.
Yeah, I guess he can catch, huh?
Yes, he can't catch after all, man. That's all. One question for you before I go into everybody's favorite segment of the week. Mike Evans, man. Is this a 1 week catastrophe? Because I thought he was Baker's, like, that was bad. That wasn't even like, like 8 targets for 3 catches for 20 yards. This was 1 catch for 9 yards. Like,
I mean, you can't be worried, right? I mean, it's not like you're not going to start Mike Evans, or you're going to go to next week, and you got Drake London.
But it's just like, oh my gosh, that was the Falcons too.
Yeah, you got Drake London or your bench. Are you going to put Drake London in for Mike Evans? You're probably still going to start.
No, you're still playing Mike Evans, but it's just like, dude, this is what I need to be good.
I mean, it hurts, without a doubt. But I mean, you can't. I mean, it happens a lot, man.
Yeah. Oh man.
Surefire waste of a touchdown.
Okay, we got a couple more this week. I started out strong. I was like, man, we're going to have a ton of surefire waste touchdowns at the beginning of the day, and then it sort of petered out a little bit. So we'll start out at the Baltimore game. We have a 7-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. Puka! No, Cooper. He got one. Who is this guy? Davis Allen with a 7-yard touchdown pass. He's I think he's 84, so a tight end, I believe. Good for him. I'm glad you exist, but that's definitely a
surefire waste of a touchdown. I thought it was Dwayne Allen. Wasn't there a Dwayne Allen that played tight end?
Yeah, well, he was a Colt, wasn't he?
I don't know. I
think he was a Colt.
Oh, baby, I don't
Give
even
us
know how
some tips.
long ago that was, but I just seen D. Allen, and I thought it was Dwayne Allen. I was like, he still plays in the NFL. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that was my central focus game. So I was like, Davis Allen. Wow, that's a surefire waste. Well, we have the Cincinnati Bengals 54-yard pass to the running back from Jake Browning. Yeah, Mixon still had a good game. Mixon resurgence might be good for the playoffs here, but Chase Brown from Illinois thought he might be a little stinker, but that he got a lot of touches today. But he got a touchdown, and no, well, actually, you know what? He did get started on that team I was telling you about earlier, where they were trying not to win. So they got all these points. So that is still, except for when you're trying not to win, it's a.
It's a surefire waste of a touchdown. Yeah, this guy's fast. I mean, he's got a lot of speed.
Oh, here's one that we thought might happen last year. 41-yard pass from Joe Flacco. All the way down the field. Looked amazing. It's Amari. Nope. Elijah. No. Oh, Njoku for now. He looked hot too, by the way. Njoku. I'm so glad.
I forgot to mention the Njoku. He was hot.
My auction tight end, baby. I didn't have one for a while and I fell into that one. Nope. How about good old David Bell? Everybody forgot about that dude. But 41-yard pass for him. Good for him. Thank you, Joe Flacco. Up, still definitely a.
Surefire waste of a touchdown. I'm pretty sure David Bell will be a permanent resident on surefire waste of a touchdown.
I mean, that's almost a double because who started Joe Flacco and who started David Bell?
Well, I mean, in this landscape of quarterback play, a lot of people might be starting Joe Flacco.
Speaking of double surefire waste of a touchdown, the New York Jets, 15-yard touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers to wrong team. New York Jets, 15-yard pass from Zach Wilson to Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb signed because Aaron Rodgers is really good friends with him. He hasn't done diddly squat this year. I saw him score a touchdown. I was like, oh, great. This is double whammy. After I busted the guy, we were recording and we had to stop recording because I got a call from the guy who picked up Zach Wilson this weekend. I busted his chops. As if Steve was calling, I was like, dude, don't play. I'd rather play nothing. Boy, he's like, boy, were you wrong? Yep, I was wrong. But those are still definitely, that's two. Sure.
Surefire waste of the touchdowns. Anything with the Jets. Probably pretty much
Let's
waste.
keep it going then. How about a 9-yard touchdown run from Brees? No. Brees did have a good game, so it wasn't Brees. Oh, wait, Dalvin got hurt. Xavier Gibson, wide receiver, Xavier Gibson, 9-yard touchdown run. Jets. That's 30 points, really, of just plain old surefire.
Waste of a touchdown. Well, Gibson was kind of hot last week, too. I mean, he kind of made of his name, probably got picked up a couple places, but I don't know if anybody was able to start him.
No, I doubt it. Got two more for you, both from the same game. One's a twofer, actually. We have a 3-yard San Francisco 49er run that puts McCaffrey. No, Eli Moore's out. Huh, cool. I like this guy. I've had him as backup. But Jordan Mason, 3-yard touchdown run. Good for him. But definitely.
Surefire waste of a touchdown. I mean, how is Elijah Mitchell out? Is he hurt? He never plays. Where does
He's always hurt. He's Mr. Glass, dude.
He never plays. He get hurt in practice.
And finally from that game, this is a twofer. We have a 24-yard pass from all of a sudden Drew Lock is starting. And it goes to DK. No. Tyler. No. Jason. No. Oh, a tight end. No. Colby Parkinson. Been there forever, but no one has him on their roster unless you're like in a triple tight end super flex starting position. So that definitely makes it a double.
Surefire waste of a touchdown. We got DK out here getting thrown out of football games because
he was
out here getting body slammed. It was hilarious.
He got ran over just from coming across and moving and got bumped. And oh my goodness, that was crazy. So, just a little thing before you give us some wisdom. Condolences to the Wycheck family. I remember watching Frank Wycheck years ago. Fell down. It sounds like he hit his head and then they just found him dead. 482 receptions for 4,958 yards and 27 touchdowns. He was, I think, 53. Born in 71. It's like, man, too soon. But it's just a crazy little thing. Like little things. We got days
but I mean, he goes down in. I mean, maybe not a Hall of Fame career, but he definitely goes down as a Hall of Fame play with the Motor City, whatever Music City
Miracle.
I mean, it shouldn't have counted, but hey, man,
it does.
It does count, and his name goes down in infamy forever. Or not infamy, that would be kind of bad.
If you're from Buffalo.
Yeah,
How about the two biggest plays in the history of like naming plays? You got that one, then the one for the Steelers. The one where
Oh, the Immaculate Reception.
Immaculate Reception. Both of those are not legal plays.
Yeah.
Because back then you weren't allowed to touch if the ball hit someone, it was dead, so that wasn't considered a real play.
Hey, but it is, and he goes, Hall of Fame play, man.
Both
That's all
stats,
good.
they both help teams. So give us some wisdom, brother.
Where's the wisdom, man? It's the playoffs are finally here, unless you're one of those weirdos that do the week 15 thing, or week 18. We really don't like those people. No, I'm just kidding. We still like you. We don't want to be in your league, but we still like you. But wish everybody.
I've done it once. It's bad.
I wish everybody good luck. Hopefully, some people got some bad. Hopefully, people got some playoff teams. I mean, just from the best of luck for the fantasy Couriers. I mean, this is what we do. Hope everybody wins a lot of money. So, as always, trust yourself and trust the process.
Maybe sometimes our processes are slow.